We go. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic lesson non-classics. This episode number 3098 and Doubleshot number 2992. I got two Spider-Man trades to talk about here. First up is Carnage, Volume 2, Symbiosis Necrosis. This contains issues 5 through 8 of Carnage, Volume, I believe this is 4. And it also includes issues of Venom. I think this is Venom Volume 5. Yes, the Al Ewing issues. Yeah, it contains issues 31, 32. I am skipping all Venom issues and the first two issues of Carnage because that is a crossover between... It's a cross between Venom and Carnage, which is interesting because, of course, basically this will be the first time they've ever done this. Yeah, it's a very quick crossover. And then we're basically talking about here the last two issues of this book, which is also the end of this volume. Of course, this will be the end of this writer's run. This is, of course, Torin Grombeck, yes, who is also currently the writer for Catwoman. Yes, she did this. This one was very, very brief. This will continue under a mini-series for Venom War, which is also written by her. It picks up where this book left off. And these last two issues is mostly put just a prologue to Venom War. We have this punk rock band singing, and then, of course, we have Flash Thompson coming into the ceiling, fighting, of course, Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock fights Carnage. And then we see... Then we're cut to Alchemax. Yes. Okay. I know it's been a while since I talked about Alchemax, but let me give an explanation about the 616 Alchemax. Because when people think of Alchemax, people think of the one from Summer 2099. This has nothing to do with that one at all. Kind of does, but this first was established by Dan Slott in the pages of Superior Spider-Man. You see, Liz Allen had taken over what basically was the Oz Corporation headquarters. Oscorp has been restored anyway, separately for this. So she formed her own separate company called Allen Chemical, and then she bought Horizon Labs from Max Mandel. This, of course, was Superior Spider-Man. This was just prior to the building blowing up, the building he had since Dan Slott started his long run for the book, his regular run for the book. And she bought the name, she bought the company from him, and the company was changed to Alchemax as a nod to 2099. Now, a lot of the time since then, it's been depicted as a very competent company. Though in the case of Extreme Carnage, they were kind of lost ground when it comes to company espionage stuff. And, well, they were overtaken by the Life Foundation. Which, I should point out, though, prior to Extreme Carnage, the Life Foundation filed for Chapter 11. Bankruptcy, and somehow they got money back. I'm not sure why, but it did. And also, Liz Allen, at this period of time, is the host of the Misery Symbiote. Her son is Red Goblin. Yes, her son, Normie Osborn, is the Red Goblin, which anybody thinks that everyone thinks that's weird, because it is. So, it kind of implies here in these issues that, okay, so we have Anti-Venom fighting Carnage inside Alchemax here. And then we have... And here's Misery. Yep, that is Liz Allen in the symbiote. Yep, it's her. This is probably just after her miniseries wrapped up. Yeah, she had a miniseries called... I think it was like Cult of Carnage. I think it was Cult of Carnage Misery, where she was the star of it. And she became a new host of Symbiote. And then she kind of powered down And, well, actually, then she came out and basically blasted Cletus Cassidy off. Well, tried to. But then Flash steps in after he gets sliced by Cletus and blasts him off. Yep. Blast a hole in him. And, of course, it was a fine. And then we see Stephanie the Carnage. And we see just stuff built up here. And basically this thing ends as a lead into Venom War. We see the podcast back again. At least doesn't have his mother basically interrupted this time. So, and of course Cletus basically Carnages out, kills people. And of course this ends with to be continued in Venom War. Yep, yeah, that's the volume. Not the end of the writer's time writing the character. Oh no, there's a mini-series left. But final thoughts on Volume 4 for Carnage. This was a very interesting volume. Like, we have this brand new character introduced here. And weird thing is, it's like, okay, so at the start of the run, we bring back Cletus Cassidy, for this story, and then they kill him off issue 3. Like, why would you bring back the original host of Carnage just to kill him? And apparently his death was a continuity error. It was really weird. Yeah, it's a well-written book. I enjoy the writing for the book. It's just that it's kind of weird. And also the whole thing of Anti-Venom fighting Carnage. It's like that's continued from the Flash the other crossover. And the thing is, Flash has fought Carnage before in Minimal Carnage when he was the host of Venom. Now he is he's basically working a security job at Alchemex. And I remember one of the books, basically, I think it was Spider-Man, well, it's like, I love bossing out my ex-boyfriend. Yes, because Liz and Flash used to date. Not currently. Flash, last person he dated, he was dating Betty Brannigan in the recommended stuff, and then she broke up with them after she killed her brother, who she thought was dead since the 60s. Yes. So next time we have is the original Spider-Verse event. Yes, the very event that spawned Across the Spider-Verse movies. Yes. So this particular book, this book collects, like, it's like I think it's like an omnibus, I think it is. Like, it's a big collection. It collects the Free Comic Day issue, which was a prologue to this, Superior Spider-Man 32-33. This, of course, is the Bill of 2 Carnage. Amazing Spider-Man 715. This is, of course, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2 to 3. Looks like 2 issues of the original Edge of Spider-Verse. The Spider-Verse miniseries, which is an anthology book. We're going to talk about the Spider-Verse, Scarlet Spiders, and Spider-Verse TM. Excuse me. Yuck. Right. I hate this. Anyways. So a lot of the tie-ins for this one interesting. I believe the Spider-Man issues were collected in, I don't think the original Spider-Man fit. No. Not really. Basically the original, excuse me. I apologize if I keep blowing my nose, but it's really annoying when my nose is stuffed up. Like this. Yeah. So, Try and get the tie-ins here. Basically, the whole thing is Spirit Spider-Man issues. It explains something that happened in the main Spirit Spider-Man book, because there was a brief 2 pages during when they brought in Spider-Man 29 where Spider Spider-Man just disappeared briefly, and he said something, and this book basically explains it. So, in the tie-ins, by the way, in the 29 tie-ins, mostly he just deals with like where Miguel was basically getting affected by the deaths of his alter counterparts. That is mostly what happens in those issues, and him getting loosely involved in this whole thing. You get on my page because I have to skim a lot of this stuff. Alright, finally, now for the Spider-Verse. This is basically a anthology book. Where the first one is basically where Ben Parker was revealed to be at the event where Peter Parker became Spider-Man. And basically it's just we even see looks like 602 Spider-Man get killed by Morlun. And we see various different versions of him. One when he's a little kid. We have one basically who is a martial artist. Goes to bet. I think it's from Spider-Man the manga. This is from, yes, I believe this is. Where he's really enjoying. Of course, you have stuff with May Riley fighting, of course, Ultimate version Dr. Octopus. When her is Lady Spider. Yes, May Riley. This is the steampunk version of Aunt May, who is a young lady who's hot. Yes, and she was also in love with, later on she revealed love with Brian, the Spider-Man UK. Yeah. Which was a lead into this. Spider-Man UK tries to tell the person in charge of the country what's going on, and she doesn't care because she's focused on the occurs, because this event came at the same period of time as the build to Secret Wars. We have provided the Secret Six in this whole story, and then we have, oh my gosh, this is so funny. So we have Morlun fighting Spider-Man from the Hostess Fruit Pie ads. Then on Earth 11, we have sort of kid version of these characters. Where it's like a girl. Oh, like Bagman. And to be continued, yeah, because it's a young girl. And then we have, get this, Morlun appearing in the serialized version of, in the black and white serials. He like shows up like, main course. Watch out, secret identity. I told you I'm Merlin, you've seen before. Is this what you really mentioned? He fights because it's serialized. He was like, no, I'm leaving because I'm getting bored. I thought it was funny. In Spider-Verse 2, looks like he's fighting a game version of Spider-Man. You know, some kid fighting, and then we have, looks like a robot Spider-Man. Like a version of Salty where he's Spider-Man. Oh, this is featuring Spider UK. Yep, I like these chunks. It was really fun. They have story for Spider-Punk, written by Jed McKay, of course. The archaic, anarchic Spider-Man. And this Spider-Man is not Peter Parker the Mask. It is Hobby Brown, a.k.a. the Prowler. Yep, he's Spider-Man in this story. Yep, this is the ultimate version. They try to get shut down, but he basically gets a fight back. It's all about fighting against the man, because he's a rock star. And he doesn't prove the fact it's him. I'm sure this particular thing of him showing his guitar like this, I think it's a nod to an old rock album. Then we have a Spanish version of Spider-Man, where like the whole issue is in Spanish. Like he's like a luchador. Then you have stuff happen during the main event where yeah, of course you have two Spider-Man talking about the symbiote, which I thought was so cool. Yeah. And then we have Superiors. You have Spider-Verse Team Up, where you have Earth 94. Looks like we have oh my gosh, we have Vulture working with Second Vulture, Young Vulture, even Red Vulture. Yeah, this guy used to be a hitman, and he was killed by the Punisher. Yeah, Chris is getting this one. It's like, yeah, then we have Spider-Ham and like an old man Spider-Man fight them. Who do we work together? Of course, they stop the Vultures. And then we have, the Luck of the Parkers, where Peter Parker is dying. Yeah, we have 6-hour Spider-Man. Except, it looks like it's actually his Man-Wolf. Actually, no, it's Man-Spider, so... They're like, yeah, we'll leave him alone. And then we go back to the 60s. Yes, the freaking 60s. Too many Spider-Man. Parker! Yeah. And then you have Miles and another Spider-Man show was like, Mitchell Cowboys. And then, of course, Chris Graves writes him like he was his show. Was like, whopping web snappers. It's true. I know. They don't count. Oh, this is so funny. And then we see the 60s version of Vulture, Electro, Scorpion, and Green Goblin. Yep. Yeah, this is so funny. Oh snap, this Spider-Man fashion is too old. I think the Spider-Man was from Ultimate Spider-Man. And Spider-Man gives us, of course, the return of Jerry Conway during Spider-Man, this story here, where it features Hobgoblin. Now, the last time that Jerry Conway wrote Spider-Man was back in the actually it was the 80s, when he was Spectacular. This actually was one of his brief time, during his brief return to Marvel, he wrote this, he did a Carnage book, and he also did a Punisher annual. And that's all he did. He did nothing else. Like, really? I like the TO stuff. I thought this miniseries was awesome. Here's the last issue. Spirit Spider-Man teams up with the Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Girl. Yeah. And we're likely working together. Of course, we have... And then we have Old Lady Op Man become a spider. Yes. Yeah, at least Ella basically was more interesting because of the young lady. Then we have Spider-Man's granddaughter, who's also a Spider-Girl. And also, one of her code names of Spider was Spider B-I-T-C-H. Yes, she called herself that. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing. Her father is Clint Barton in the Old Man Logan universe. And her mom is Peter Parker's daughter. I'm like, does anybody find that gross? But, like, it's the Old Man Logan universe. They can do whatever the heck they want. Heck, in this universe, Hulk slept with She-Hulk. And had kids. And this is real. The Giants has Old Man Logan one shot. What's the finale for this thing? Yeah. That title was weird. Yep. And of course, they take down the guy becomes Master. Of course, he wears a mask. Of course, you hear the reason why later. Yeah. And then we have Spider-Man bugged. Yeah. Fun Spider story here. This one is written by Tom DeFalco and Ron Fritz. Yeah, for a guy who didn't like the Spider-Verse version of May Parker, Mayday Parker, and yet he wrote this short story, and the guy who created her. And apparently, this was by Chuck Dixon. I didn't know this. Apparently, Spider-Girl's popularity with the trade packs at Barnes Noble put in the young girl section. This was like hotcakes. And Marvel hated the fact that Spider-Girl outsold their main books. Apparently they hated it. And I'm like, why would they hate something that sells? Because it's not part of the 616 universe? I don't know, it was weird. Maybe because Marvel, people liked it because it was probably better than maybe as a scrapbook. Who knows? A lot of people say they should bring back the book now. But, who knows? Yep. But this book is a lot of fun. Oh yeah, then it comes the Spider-Man book, which has the book done by Greg Land. He's a nice guy, but good gosh. The guy is notorious for his tracing habits. Where, like, yeah, this is the guy who admitted he draw inspiration from porn. Yes. Where one person described his artwork, where he's reviewing this book, as porn stars dressed up as superheroes. That's what he thought of when he thought of this Spider-Woman book. And get this, only the first 3 issues were tied to the Spider-Verse. Issue 4 was basically the epilogue. Just tie it. And here's Carol Danvers draw like her. Also, Greg Land has also this weird thing of smiling while people are beating people up. Yes, he loves that so much. The Scarlet Spider's book features the clones team up together, and that is, get this, Jessica Drew, who is a clone of the Ultimate Spider-Man, Kane, and Ben Reilly. Yep. These 3 team with each other. Yeah. And this is basically the breaking the Loom world. That's the whole story of this one, which is really cool. I like. Then, of course, they bring it to meet Spider-Man. Oh, fight with Gen X. Gen X was the cloning lab, and this whole thing is, the 3 clones working together to stop the clone labs. And apparently, one person who works Tony Stark is Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. And I love this multi-part story. It's amazing. Because the cloning facility is the reason why they have to keep coming back. And who writes this book, you might ask? I don't think it was Conway, no. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, here we go. Alright, who writes this mini-series? It is Mike Costa. Yep. Yeah, and of course they kill off the Earth 94 Ben Riley, who was introduced in this event and got killed off in a tie-in. And they're like, really? They introduced him here? I think it's like an alternate take on this universe. It's the reality of, oh, what if basically Jameis accepted? Spare me. So apparently this universe was followed by in a video game. Yeah. So, great mini-series. Already discussed the Spider 29 issues. His thing is getting dragged in his bit because he's a spider. Why not? Yeah, that's it. Pretty much discussed here. With that, basically the original event is done. Yeah, this book was awesome. Also, here's here's a cameo by Japanese Spider-Man's robot, who does play a role in this, but he's not a role in the sequels for some reason. Yeah, this book was amazing. Yeah, amazing book. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It was awesome. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. And that's sadly it's going to be it for tonight because it's getting kind of late. So I'll see you tomorrow for Sentai, a comic corner, as far as I can tell. And along with reviews for what was the things? It was Blue Exorcist, Ranger Adventure in the World, and Her Girlfriends. Okay? So see you tomorrow. Bye.